So obviously we're going to talk about the absolute witch hunt against Donald Trump because let's just be blunt right off the bat here. They are absolutely terrified of him being president again. They're terrified of it. Here's where the criminal and civil cases facing Trump stand. Attorneys for former President Donald Trump met with federal prosecutors from Special Counsel Jack Smith's office on Thursday, more than a week after Trump first announced that he'd received word that he's the target of a grand jury investigation into efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election, which was absolutely fair, and there was no shenanigans there whatsoever. He took to social media Thursday afternoon to say his attorneys had a productive meeting with the DOJ. He wrote on Truth Social that his lawyers explained in detail that I did nothing wrong, was advised by many lawyers, and that an indictment of me would only further destroy our country, he wrote. No indication of notice was given during the meeting. Do not trust the fake news on anything. Trump is the first former president in United States history to be criminally indicted. He's charged with crimes he allegedly committed before and after his presidency, all announced as he's running for president again, because obviously they're trying to just throw everything they can at him to stop him from becoming president again, because let's be very blunt again, Biden's not mentally capable. Like, he's just not. He belongs in a home, right? He's stupid. He's messed everything up. People want Trump back. You know, the hype is all around Donald Trump, and I would absolutely love to have Donald Trump back, because it would be a hilarious and content. Trump has also been embroiled in civil suits out of New York, one of which is tied to allegations he and close advisors to the Trump organization, including his children, committed fraud. Trump has pleaded not guilty in each of the criminal cases he's been charged and says he is not liable in other cases. Here's where things stand. Criminal cases: the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. And that's the photo of it. Number of charges 40. Expected trial date May 20th of this year, 2024, which is they're doing it in line with the election. They're trying to take him out before he can run for president again. They're definitely going to try and jail him to make sure that he can never be in charge again. However, if they do that, things would be bad. That would just be the final nail in the coffin, where it's like, right, see how it's like the system is rigged. The system is rigged. The system, basically, they don't like Trump because he wasn't in the club. He wasn't in the special little club, right? That's why they didn't like him. And he got in, and they didn't think he would ever win, and then they started panicking and flailing whenever he actually got in, and 4 years of just absolute hilarity and screeching ensued. It was fantastic. I loved every moment of it. Trump pleaded not guilty to, and also, by the way, see these same documents, the things that Trump's been charged with. Biden had a bunch of documents in his garage, but that doesn't matter. That's fine. That doesn't matter at all. Trump pleaded not guilty to 37 federal charges on June for allegedly storing dozens of classified documents at his Florida resort and then refusing to hand them over to the FBI and the National Archives. Special Counsel Jack Smith, who is also leading the investigation into the January 6 charges against Trump, oversaw the probe into the documents case. Federal prosecutors allege Trump had a direct hand in packing classified documents when he left the White House in 2021, that he then bragged about having these secret materials and pushed his own attorney to mislead federal law enforcement about what kind of documents he had in his resort. Prosecutors told Judge Cannon they want Trump's trial to begin on December 11th, but on July 21st, Cannon issued an order pushing the trial start date to May 20th, 2024, at the tail end of the Republican presidential primary process. Wow, what a weird time. What a strange, convenient time to pick for the trial to be. Isn't that weird? Trump's legal team will likely continue working to get the trial pushed back until after the 2024 presidential election, because as of now, I believe he still is a candidate. Trump aide Walt Nauta has also been indicted in this case. He pleaded not guilty in early July to charges that he conspired with the former president to withhold classified documents. On July 27th, a grand jury in the Southern District of Florida charged Trump with a new count of willful retention of national defense information in the case, stemming from a top-secret presentation he waved at aides at his Bedminster, New Jersey resort. A new defendant was also added to the indictment. The Trump campaign responded to the new charges with a statement: "This is nothing more than a continued, desperate and flailing attempt by the Biden crime family and their Department of Justice to harass President Trump and those around him." That is what it is. They're trying to destroy him because they don't want him to get into the White House again. Because if he gets into the White House again, oh boy, Oh, good goddamn. The Stormy Daniels hush money case. Number of charges 34. Wow, that's a lot of fucking. They're throwing everything at him. Expected trial date March 25th, 2024 in New York. With this case, Trump, did you not notice how everything was fine for ages? But then when Trump went, no, I'm running again, this is happening, I'm still going to do my campaign stuff, that's when all of these appeared. It's weird. I mean, if it was for a sense of justice, then they would have done it the moment these things happened. But it's been weirdly timed for when Trump is going to be properly running for president again. It's weird. It's weird that, isn't it? I just thought it's an important thing to point out. With this case, Trump became the first former president in United States history to be criminally indicted. The grand jury voted to indict Trump in March on 34 felony counts of business record falsification. Allegations in this case go back to before Trump was elected president. They are tied to hush money payments made before the 2016 elections to the adult film star Stormy Daniels to cover up an alleged affair. Daniels, whose legal name is Stephanie Clifford, has said that she and Trump had an affair in 2006. Following the launch of Trump's campaign in 2016, Daniels offered to sell her story to gossip magazines. In October, National Enquirer executives friendly to Trump flagged this to Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen. And that's one thing, you can't trust a hoe. You absolutely cannot trust a hoe. Right? See if you ever become famous or powerful or rich or anything for any reason, keep an eye on every single one of your exes. All of them. Because they're your exes. They hate you. So, yeah. Because they're going to try and pull some shit. As we can see here, and as we've seen with pretty much every single, person that ever got famous. Cohen agreed to pay $130,000 to Daniels to keep her silent. Her attorney received this money less than 2 weeks before the election. Cohen was later reimbursed $420,000 after Trump was elected president, which Trump has admitted to doing to pay off Daniels. Trump has long maintained he never had an affair with Daniels. According to court records, executives with the Trump Organization categorized the reimbursements as a retainer for legal services. One of Trump's attorneys called the decision to prosecute the former president as political persecution. Trump himself has called District Attorney Alvin Bragg a racist for pursuing this case. Ongoing in criminal investigations January 6th. It's unclear what any charges against Trump could entail. Last December, the Congressional January the 6th Committee investigating the deadly riot at the US Capitol, it was one of the rioters that was killed, who was unarmed, and then police officers mysteriously started committing suicide after it. A bunch, a high enough number where it was kind of weird. It's strange, isn't it? At the US Capitol referred Trump to the Justice Department for 4 criminal charges that included obstruction of an official proceeding, conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to make a false statement, and conspiracy to defraud the United States by assisting, aiding, or comforting those involved in an insurrection. The committee, however, had no power over what the DOJ chose to do. But a possible indictment from federal prosecutors could touch on attempts by Trump and his allies to pressure officials not to certify the 2020 election results or urging his supporters to fight like hell to stop Congress from certifying the result. Now, what's going to happen in this trial is there's going to be a lot of discussion over what the phrase fight like hell could mean. Trump's going to go in and say things like, I obviously mean things like, with your votes, with your advocacy, with your activism, blah, blah, blah. But they're going to say, no, you wanted them to go in there and start murdering politicians, which... No. But basically, there's going to be a lot of discussion around that, and one thing that see if we get Brandenburg versus Ohio cited in the Trump trial, that'll be interesting. The problem is he didn't say anything direct incitement. He even tweeted out, as we saw when his account finally got unbanned from Twitter, that he said, be peaceful, right? He was encouraging the protesters to be peaceful. However, January 6th was a fucking LARP, right? People were stealing podiums and shitting on desks and all that type of stuff, and and people are getting heavy sentences for it, for something that was essentially a fucking laugh. Trump spoke with his supporters during a rally in the hours leading up to the mob taking over the US Capitol. In his speech, he told the thousands present, "We must stop the steal." So far, investigators have reached deep into Trump's inner circle, contacting former Vice President Mike Pence and the former president's son-in-law to testify before the grand juries in Washington, D.C. Secretaries of State in several states were also reportedly interviewed as part of the investigation into efforts to overturn the 2020 election. CNN reported recently that officials in 7 key battleground states during the 2020 election, Georgia, New Mexico, Nevada, Michigan, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, that were targeted by Trump and his allies to subvert the Electoral College, were subpoenaed. Also, investigators have spoken with dozens of witnesses with knowledge of the final days of the Trump presidency and what he and his team might have done to prevent Biden from taking the White House. Just barricade themselves in the room and go, no. It's making like a game of Rainbow Six Siege. Trump insiders embroiled in the federal investigation have also included attorneys John Eastman and Jeffrey Clark, who both had their phones taken by agents last year during the probe. Georgia 2020 election interference. In Fulton County, GA, which is home to Atlanta, District Attorney Fannie Willis, Fannie, has impaneled a grand jury to investigate efforts by Trump and his allies to overturn 2020 election results in the state. The criminal investigation was started by Willis after the publication of a phone call in January 2021 of Trump pressuring Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger to find ballots in support of Trump. This was after the former president narrowly lost the state to Joe Biden. Trump has denied wrongdoings and still baselessly maintains that there was large-scale voter fraud in Georgia during the 2020 presidential election. In regards to the 2020 election, I am like 70% sure that some funky shit went down. We've all seen that little line that just like suddenly goes whoop. We've all seen that. Vans turning up at like 2 a.m. and shit like that, you know, it's very suspicious. Willis has suggested she'll ask the grand jury for indictments later this summer, potentially as soon as August, and has told law enforcement to prep for a major public response. Trump is also still fighting civil lawsuits. Expected trial date October of this year. After a 3-year investigation, New York Attorney General Letitia James filed a civil lawsuit against Trump, the Trump Organization's executive team, and 3 of his eldest children last September. The lawsuit claims that Trump committed fraud by inflating his net worth by billions of dollars in order to get richer. What? What? What does that mean? Inflating his net worth by billions of dollars in order to get richer. So if you just say that you have more money than you have, what will happen? Is that one of those things like, think it, dream it, do it? Okay, I'm a billionaire. I'm a billionaire, boys. Now that I've said it, it will happen. The case against Trump's oldest daughter, Ivanka Trump, has since been dropped. James is seeking around $250 million in penalties and a ban on Trump, his kids, and members of his executive team from operating businesses in the state of New York. The Eugene Carroll case, expected trial date January 15th of 2024. In 2019, writer Eugene Carroll first publicly came forward saying Trump had raped her in a department store dressing room in the 1990s when Trump was known as just a businessman. Trump responded then and since, denying the accusation and saying that the writer had ulterior motives. Carroll sued Trump twice in 2019 and later in 2022, in large part for his alleged defamation. The columnist filed the second lawsuit against Trump, this time for both defamation and rape, after the state of New York lifted the statute of limitations for survivors of sexual assault to file civil claims. In May, a federal jury found Trump liable for battery and defamation in this second lawsuit. The jury in this case said he did sexually abuse the writer and defamed her when he denied her allegation. Carroll was awarded $5 million in damages. This week, a federal judge in New York rejected Trump's motion for a new trial. Trump's legal team filed a counterclaim against Carroll in late June for defamation. In that suit, he claims Carroll defamed him during her appearance on CNN after the jury verdict. In that interview, she was asked about the verdict finding Trump sexually abused her, but that he didn't rape her. Carroll responded, "Oh yes, he did." Carroll's first lawsuit, filed in 2019, referred to as Carroll 1 in the court, was filed for Trump's early alleged defamatory statements. Following her victory in May, Carroll and her lawyers asked the court to expand the scope of the Carroll 1 case against Trump, seeking at least an additional $10 million in damages. That trial date is expected next year. Did you spend the $5 million already, hen? Should manage your money better. Right, so all of this, all happening all at once, and it was only when Trump was president and when he was running for president again. Because, before 2016, a bunch of this stuff was years ago. That shit was in the 90s. You could have done that at any time, sweetheart. But you chose then. It's weird. Look, the timing of this is just awfully convenient. We all know why it is. They're terrified of him getting back in. They're terrified of him getting back in because this just kind of proves that whoever the president is a puppet who is part of the little special club. That's all it is, right? And which is, something that we've all obviously known for a very, very long time. Leftists back in the 90s and stuff like that. The cool ones that are actually, chill. Yeah, they knew it. We know it now. The current leftists, they don't. They still think it's a free, fair, and not rigged system. Basically, yeah, this just confirms what we've always suspected. Right, that whoever's in the White House, they're a puppet, they're a pawn. I mean, look at Biden, Jesus Christ. He's a fucking badly coded AI animatronic that forgets how to speak sometimes. And that's exactly what they want. They want someone that's just there like, I've got the hairy legs and I got my ice cream, corn pop. Kids. Like, that's what they want. That's the type of person that they want because then they can do all their heinous shit that they're up to in the background. That's exactly what they wanted. And this just kind of proves it. But yeah, now even though a lot of these charges are complete absolute bullshit, they're going to stick because it's Trump. And unfortunately, he's going up against a system that hates him because, courts and judges, they are an arm of the state. They're not there to protect. They're the HR department of the state. And everybody knows that HR is not there to protect you. They are there to protect the company.